Hey everyone, Jessica Broglie here. I'd like to take a brief moment to reiterate the importance of looking at task 3 way before you ever get to task 1. Let me show you why. So I've grabbed the Secondary History and Social Studies handbook as an example. Please make sure you read your own handbook. The things mentioned in here don't apply to every handbook. Every handbook has its own unique set of requirements. So when I flip over to task 3, of course I'm going to read the whole task, but there's something that I'd like to point out after having read it myself. Under Analyze Student Learning, it says, use evidence found in 3 student work samples and the whole class summary to analyze patterns of learning for the whole class and differences for groups or individual learners relative to facts and concepts, inquiry, interpretation, or analysis skills, and building and supporting arguments or conclusions. To me, that's really important that I know way before I finish task 1, because I need to make sure I design an assessment that measures my students' understanding of these things. Additionally, I notice here under feedback to guide further learning, I'm able to, I need to identify the format that I submitted evidence, but I notice here I can write directly on work samples or on separate documents that were provided, like say a rubric. I can also submit audio files and video clips from instruction task 2. That's really important for me to note because that tells me that I can submit other things besides paper. Say, besides a research paper, I can use rubrics, I can use audio and video. So I also noticed this. You may provide evidence of students' language use from 1, 2, or all 3 of the following sources. Video clips from task 2, so I already said that. But you can also submit an additional file named language use, no more than 5 minutes in length, for task 3. You can also provide student work samples analyzed in task 3, of course. That's really important because that means this video, I need to make sure I do this in task 2. Once I pass task 2 and took all my video, I'm done teaching the lesson. It's really hard to go back and fix all this if I never took the video in the first place. It limits your options. So make sure you take a lot of video so you have some choices. Also notice this. Explain and provide concrete examples for the extent to which your students were able to use or struggle to use the selected language function, vocab, symbols, syntax, or discourse. You need to make sure your lesson builds in opportunities to do these things. And when I go back to look at the rubrics, I'll just grab one for a sample here. Level 4 here, the analysis uses specific examples from work samples to demonstrate patterns of learning consistent with the summary and patterns of learning described for the whole class. So you want to hit both, but if you want a 5, check this out. The analysis uses specific evidence from work samples to demonstrate the connections between quantitative, meaning you can count it, it's data, and qualitative, meaning it's more observational, patterns of learning for individuals or groups. So you need to build in an assessment. If you want to shoot for a 5, you need to build in an assessment that gives you numbers like test scores, quiz scores, rubric scores, but then also provide visual observation. And if you can do that and convince your score that you've done this well, you could get a 5. Take some time and read task 3, 2, and of course 1 ahead of time so you build out your assessments way before you get to task 3.